Welcome. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Demystifying Gay Porn Podcast with IK Grande. I'm your host, IK Grande. And if you know me by now, you know I've been in the industry for 12 years. And if you've watched gay porn, I've definitely helped you get off. My first guest on this podcast, I'm very fortunate to have a porn veteran who's been in the industry for 8 years now. The one and only Dolf Dietrich. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
You're breaking me in at this point.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow. That's the new way to look at things. But congratulations on your initial podcast. And I'm sure people will love to hear about demystifying porn. There's a name for you.
Demystifying Gay Porn Network.
Yes.
Has to be.
Well, I'm here to help answer any questions. Nothing's off the table.
Dolf Dietrich stands tall at 6'5", and his presence in the gay porn industry matches his stature. And he loves men with tattoos, he loves muscles, and he loves beards.
That's about true. I've wrote that a long time ago.
Okay, let's start off with the fact that you are leaving us. You are leaving the porn industry.
That is correct. I am retiring as of June 13th and 14th is my last event called Wet and Hot in Palm Springs, California. And I've gone back into my career, which I had before I started porn, which is in advertising and media. I'm a graphic designer, design director. And so I have a new job and, finishing out with a wonderful bang my career in porn.
What made you decide that now is the perfect time to leave porn?
There have been a couple things that have happened over the past year or two. Getting older is one of them. Fortunately, porn doesn't have a union. We don't have benefits. So I really wanted to get back into building a 401k and different things like that. But basically, I missed being in the agency world of creativity and design. And I was doing it concurrently for many years with the porn at the beginning for about the first half of my porn career. And that worked out really well. But then I, lost a few clients, their contracts ended, and I was just doing porn for the past 4 years. And I started getting a little bit outdated on the programs that I need to be up in, because, media is changing so quickly.
Actually, you make a really good point, because I've also been job searching, or I was job searching for a while, and the way they tack on social media to anything graphic design or anything video, and it's not the same thing. It's a totally different beast. But the kids nowadays, they'll do that stuff, so they know they can hire them.
Well, I was a print designer before I started porn, so I worked in magazine and publishing, and I learned all about print. I know printing presses back and forth, and magazines changing the way they are. 2007 was when I left the magazine industry, 2007, 2008, and media was changing. So it was also the recession came in 2008, 2009, and I just thought it was a good time to leave and, take stock of what was going on in my life. And then the magazine world changed so much. And when I tried to get back into the magazine world this past year in New York, it wasn't the same. They were looking for people with a lot more digital acumen than I had, and just a strict print production person or designer such as myself, I wasn't getting hired. Being
in porn or having this career in porn, does that, does it affect any of your new work at all? Have you seen it affected or?
Absolutely. It gives me stamina and courage to go into a boardroom and make a presentation. So that's one thing I always say. Now that I'm a design director, I'm at the director level, and I do have every day I have meetings with the CFO, the CEO, my team. I have a whole team that I work with, and leadership, and I am in the leadership department now. So it has given me a lot of understanding of what it takes to be a leader and be in charge.
That's such a good, positive message to get out of it, because it's true. It does build your confidence.
Absolutely.
From your career, your 8-year career in porn, what's your first memory of getting into the industry?
I guess it would be my first live sex show, which was in New Orleans with my ex-boyfriend, Drew Sebastian. We were down there for Southern Decadence, which is one of my favorite events. Love it down there. And I remember in New Orleans, you can't have all full-out sex in front of the crowd. You have to have a scrim in front of you, like a screen, and then they project it, so it's a little bit... It looks like you're doing a shadow play or something. So we're having sex behind the screen. I poked my head out as I'm getting fucked, and people were just pissed. So they ripped down the curtain in a fury because they couldn't see what they wanted to see.
What was one of your worst memories?
Well, it was with the same person, Drew Sebastian. I made the mistake of telling the producer for Falcon, that A Raging Stallion, that I was able to be fisted, but I had never been fisted in my life. And we got on set, and I still hadn't been fisted, but I tried, and it didn't work. I ended up going to the bathroom. I was in tears, it was like just terrible. And instead, I ended up fisting him. So that was my first time ever fisting anyone.
And he was ready for it?
He actually, the funny thing is, the night before, we were out in Vegas. It was shot in Vegas, and we were dancing. We were at like the Paris or something, and we were literally just dancing a little bit, and all of a sudden he fell to the ground, writhing in pain. He thought he'd been shot, and we didn't know what happened. I helped him back to the room, and he was like writhing in pain. The next day, he was like kind of bruised, and it was in so much pain, and I fisted him through all of that. He got an MRI. He had dislocated his hip. Jesus. Popped out and then popped back in. I think there's a term for it, but it's very painful. So it's one of my favorite scenes. It's beautiful. But if you know the backstory, that I was actually in tears because I couldn't get fisted, so then I fisted him with a dislocated hip.
It's been such a pleasure working with you because you're an easy guy to work with.
Thank you.
And you really get into it, and direction is very minimal with you. I hope you enjoyed that as well.
I did. I think we've shot at least 3 or 4, maybe 5 scenes together, and we were just talking about it before we were rolling. You gave me one of the biggest dicks I ever had, S1E1, which was pretty incredible, and I was the replacement bottom that day. I think if you remember, it was supposed to be somebody else. I don't recall his name, but he was pissed.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know who it was. I really don't. If I did, I would say that.
He was like, damn, you got that dick. And I took it like a champ. And yeah, the expression on my face during that scene is real.
Yeah.
Like, there was a point in my head where I was like, can I do this? I don't know if I can do this. And you could see it in my eyes. And it ended up being a really awesome scene. It was really great.
There were certain scenes, absolutely. And I think the hottest ones are when you can actually tell that it's really happening. And there's a certain amount of pain and pleasure at the same time, and that definitely was happening there. Yeah,
that was a great scene. And then we got to film a great scene with my husband, Hugh Hunter, and Simon Santana, which was just pretty organic and incredible and really sexy.
Yeah. What's with, not just you, but in general, like porn stars, what's with the beef? Like, there's so much beef on Twitter.
I mean, I don't think it's unique to the porn industry, of course, because we've seen so much, clapback and all kinds of people trolling online these days. It's unfortunate, and at the beginning towards the middle of my career, I got caught up in a few feuds, if you will, and I've really tried hard to not be that person. It's unfortunate because sometimes when you're attacked, you want to respond, and everyone says, be the bigger person, don't respond. But, I'm only human, so sometimes when I respond, people think, you're actually becoming, it's flipped. You become the person that's the aggressor. So I try really hard not to fall into that trap anymore. There are definitely a few people in the industry that I feel are toxic, and it's definitely not easy. All of us who have access to Twitter or a keyboard or any kind of account to voice our opinions, it's a lot easier to think about it, or maybe just write it down for yourself and not tweet it. But I've made mistakes. I will admit to that, but I think I'm the good guy in most of the situations that have happened. So
I can't see how people would start shit with you, but I mean, somebody will start something for no reason whatsoever, and I have.
It happens. So. There's all sorts of motivations that people have. Who knows? But it's not my problem.
Yeah. Who is the best top you've worked with?
Worked with or had sex with? That's in the industry.
Let's keep it with worked.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Drew Sebastian was pretty amazing.
Okay.
I mean, so he's up there.
Okay. Who's the best bottom you've ever
had? The best bottom? Let's say there's he's this little blonde guy. I can't remember his name. I don't know. I tend to like blonder small twinks when I'm topping. Actually, what am I thinking? Armand Rizzo.
Oh, okay.
Because I've shot with Armand Rizzo several times. I've had sex with him outside of filming, and he's definitely my favorite bottom. I do like the size difference. I'm not going to lie. He's the best bottom in the industry. I think most of us can agree on that. So, Armand Rizzo.
It's a very big title to hold on to, and he's held on to it for a minute, hasn't he?
For a minute or two, yeah.
Others have tried.
Yes.
What is something that you would want them to know about you?
I think that I would like people to know that I'm a kind person. I, have this image of being a sort of dominant, aggressive top, which I can be, and that's only one facet of me. I'm also a very sensitive man. I tend to cry a lot at movies, commercials, and I also feel like I like to mentor younger people when I'm on set, and we're in between shoots, and the person might be anywhere from 18 to 25, and I've talked to some guys who, their family has just thrown them out of their house because they have because they're gay or whatever. And so, and I also deal a lot with people who have mental depression and want people to know that it's okay to not be okay. So if they ever need somebody, they can reach out to me. So I definitely want to be known as that person that, just wasn't the big, dopey, because that's actually one of the websites calls me a big dopey musclehead or something, which I'm not. I'm an intelligent, thinking person. Yeah. So I just happen to be a pig, and that's just part of one of my traits. I appreciate everyone so much for the years of letting me be silly, goofy, sexy, dirty, piggy, everything else online. I've been privileged and honored to be in this industry. It's an industry which has changed from the day that I started. It's a very different media world now than it was 7 years ago when I started, or 8 years ago when I started webcamming from my home in Provincetown, Massachusetts in the winter. And I just feel very lucky and blessed. And I want to say thank you to everybody that I've worked with, and everyone who's followed me over the years. I just really, really couldn't be a luckier man. And I'm leaving with my head held high. So thank you guys so much. And my dick rock hard.
Thank you very much. So this has been the first podcast. Hopefully I got it right and I did it well. But I want to thank Dolf Dietrich very, very much for giving me his time. Not really sure how to end this yet, but it'll eventually get there. You've been watching Demystifying Gay Porn. I'm your host, Ike Grande. Demystifying Gay Porn can be found on every podcast directory as well as YouTube. Demystifying Gay Porn is on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Telegram. If you like what you're watching and want to be a part of the process, head over to patreon.com/demystifyinggayporn, where you can help this YouTube channel and I can continue making content like this. Once again, this is Demystifying Gay Porn. My name is Ike Grande, and if you watch gay porn, I've definitely helped to get off. Cheers.